Hey everybody, Justin Worden, and you are watching What's New in Electronics. We are here day one of the IPC Apex Expo 2024 in Anaheim, California, and I am back at it again with my friend Mike Bixenman of Magnalytix. How are you, Mike?
I'm doing good, Justin. How you doing?
Man, you know what? I'm doing great. I think you and I have done this about 3 or 4 times. And when you and I get into it, we really dive into the data. We dive into the J standard and this standard and that standard. But if it's okay with you, I want to take this in a little bit of a different direction.
Okay.
So, Magnalytix. Let's talk about the service you guys are providing.
Yeah, so what we do is we help companies develop a qualified manufacturing plan, objective evidence that the hardware, the assemblies that they build have acceptable levels of flux and other process residues. So what we do is when you look at electronic assembly, moisture is really the driver that causes them to fail. And so we run this test in a temperature humidity bias condition, and it's called SIR. And once we run the test, we're able to help them understand where the process is. We write a third-party validation report. From that report, they can take that report and provide their objective evidence to the people that they build for.
Well, the value you guys are providing is that you're kind of offering that all-inclusive service, right?
That is correct.
Because well, actually, another question: is this done on site or is this done inside the Magnalytix lab?
It's done on, most of it is done in the Magnalytix lab. We have several instruments, so when people have a need to do this, they do not have to wait. As far as the test boards, we keep them in stock. We build the test boards, we build the dummy components. They order those from us. They build up their process. They send them in to us. The day we get them, we put them on test. 7 days later, we complete the test. We remove the components. We compare the SIR to the residue we see underneath the component terminations. We write a full third-party report, and then afterwards we do a consulting call with them. So if they have a problem, we can tell them what the nature of the problem is and how to go about fixing it, and to really develop a more reliable understanding of what it takes to build good product in their operation.
I've had the opportunity to go on a lot of these floors, and the service that Magnalytix provide, there's so much involved. It's almost overwhelming to think about. And I think the issue that a lot of facilities are running into is that whole like paralysis by analysis, right? When you think there's so much work to do, we just can't do it. There's labor shortages all over. No one has the manpower to take on these type of projects, and that's where you guys kind of fit that mold. Like, just pawn it off on us.
Well, we bring the experience. I mean, we understanding these processes, and cleaning is a process. You know that. And it's all about understanding how to optimize that process and having that experience to understand, what they can do to improve their process, and to show it to them in the data is where the magic's at. That's exactly what they want. And what they're looking for is third-party validation. They want that validation that they can show to their client that their part is reliable.
Well, and that's important. The third party validation part, right? Because everyone out there, we can sell ourselves the best. But when you have someone else selling it for you, and when I say selling, it's the validation, right? I mean, they can go back, they can take on new business, they can maintain their current business, and they can really put themselves on a pedestal showing that, hey, this is a validated process.
Absolutely. And part of that whole service is the consulting piece. I mean, what we can do is go back to them, and we understand design. We understand optimization. We understand the little things that they can do to solve problems that they may have within their assembly process. Secondly, they may not have any problems. And what we've done is we've given them confidence that what they're doing is right. And now that becomes a selling tool for them to show people that, look, here's the type of assemblies we build. We put them into a stress environment. They pass. We have the testing to prove it. So it gives them confidence that, they're building a good product for their customers, they can go out and get more customers.
Well, one thing we got to focus on, in these scenarios we're talking about, validation, validation, validation. But let's be honest, the reason this service is here is because not everyone is doing it right. So there's the other side of that coin too. When you're building out these businesses and these companies are investing a lot of money, how long do you want to go down that path before you find out you're doing it the wrong way?
Yeah, when you look at a circuit assembly, your problems are not across the assembly. They're very component specific. And in many cases, you can't see the residue where that component is. And so they may be cleaning and thinking they're doing a great job when they're not. And so understanding what it is that they're doing and utilizing this service to select the right materials. In some cases, they may, whether it's a machine, a cleaning agent, a solder paste, they may think they've got the right materials, but they may not. And being able to characterize those materials to show them whether or not those materials are problematic is a key value adder that we provide.
Well, another thing to think about too, I mentioned labor shortages earlier on, and that there's such a large turnover rate with employees on the assembly line these days that just because a process was put in by employee A doesn't mean he's still there. So with that turnover, you run into issues that you can further validate by working with Magnalytix.
Yeah, and one of the things that people don't really realize is that when you build an electronic assembly, the surface mount side of that is the most controlled part of that process. But a lot of times where failures really start to creep in is the secondary processes, whether it's selective soldering, wave soldering, manual rework. Think about manual rework. You have a series of operators that you're now bringing the human effect into the and how do you train them for best practice? One of the ones that if you're building a no clean process, and we test for a lot of people who build no clean. One of the key failure areas of no clean is manual rework and topical cleaning. Why is that? You're dissolving the residue, you're spreading it to neighboring components. It hasn't been heat activated. So there's a lot that can be gained through the type of testing services that we provide.
Well, I think we'll sum it up with that right there. It's not worth taking on this task. Pass it off to the experts, save time, get it done right, and get that third-party validation.
Absolutely, and we that's what we do. I mean, we're here for the customer. I mean, I tell people every day. I tell the people that work for me, customers pay our bills. Without customers, we do not exist. And so, we're here to serve the customer and help them. And that's what makes us successful at the end of the day.
Well, I think that's the best way to end that right there. Thank you very much, Mike. Have a wonderful show.
Okay, you too.